everybody, I hope this lighting is okay. I've really tried my best. Well, we have a lot to talk about. A lot. Because this video, by the title you can tell, is about why I stopped training professionally. I just want to say that whilst I have come an incredibly long way with being able to talk about this, it still is something that is quite difficult for me to talk about because it still does mean a lot to me. It definitely wasn't a pleasant experience, and there's just still a lot of emotions and memories attached to the past, like pretty much my entire life almost, and that is like just crazy. I've been wanting to share why I stopped for so long. And it's not just because like I literally get questions every day about, have you stopped? Why did you stop? Are you still training professionally? Like, what are you doing now? Like, why? What happened? So many questions, completely understandable, but also there is a lot that can be learnt from my experience that you can take into your own lives, whether you're a professional in any sort of like category in life, whether you train professionally, whether you study full-time, whether you work or you're a single mom or whatever. Like, we can all learn from each other's stories and experiences, which I think is so beautiful, and I'm here to share my experience so that you can learn from it, but also to give advice to others that particularly are training in the profession that I did. I could make a billion trillion videos, and there's definitely more that I want to make in terms of advice on it. But this video is more just about why I stopped training, because if I talked about everything, we would be here for literally days. Those of you who don't know, I used to train professionally in the realm of classical ballet. Now, to some of you, you might be like, how can that be a professional thing? Like, you just dance on your toes and lift your legs up. Which I can understand, because that's why we present it. We make it look easy. Let me tell you, it wasn't easy. It was just like any other athletic sport. And honestly, you can't compare athletic sports because they are all so different. And any athlete, like, I can't call myself an athlete anymore because I do not dedicate my entire life towards it. I don't make all these incredible sacrifices to achieve what I want to. It's not my life anymore. Long story short, as a kid, I did artistic gymnastics, which is bars, beam, vault, and floor. No, not the ribbon thing with the hoops and stuff. I have no coordination. Honestly, I always say that. I'm like, how did I dance then? But anyways, I trained at a local dance school, which is actually like quite good in my opinion, and it was a great environment. Teachers were lovely. And yeah, I also did artistic gymnastics under a club called Spring Hill Gymnastics, which is now Premier Gymnastics Academy or something, and they've changed their location. And honestly, all the coaches that I was coached by aren't there anymore. But yeah, if you were interested, that's what it was called. I didn't realize at the time, obviously, but I obviously showed some sort of potential or talent in both areas. And it came to the point when I was in grade 5 or 6 at school. I still went to school, and you know, I was a normal regular student. And it came to the point where I had to choose one or the other because gymnastics wanted to bump me up to like 40 hours a week, and I couldn't do that on top of ballet. Plus, like, whilst they can go hand in hand in some ways, they also do not go hand in hand, obviously. So I had to make a decision. And honestly, when I made that decision, it was like, I was just an exhausted kid. I trained so much in both areas, and honestly, ballet sounded easier. And to be, like, whilst that's true, sorry, this is quite hard for me to talk about, but the honest reason why I chose ballet over gymnastics was because if I did gymnastics, I would stay in the location that I was in, and I would continue studying, you know, at school. And for me, at that time, I couldn't stand to be in my city due to other external factors that I will talk about in the future, but definitely not anytime soon. But yeah, my reasoning for choosing ballet over gymnastics was purely to get out of Brisbane and go somewhere else. So yeah, anyways, I got into the Australian Ballet School, long story short, trained in Melbourne for 3 years, got a diploma, moved to Sydney, trained at Tanya Pearson Classical Coaching for a year, and then I got an offer to join the John Krenko Schule in Stuttgart, Germany, which is a very well-renowned ballet school. In fact, it's in like the top 3, in my opinion. You could even say it is the top ballet school, because in terms of ballet schools, like, it's all opinionized on which one's best, because there's kind of different ways you can do classical ballet, like French, Italian, Russian, all of that kind of thing. So yeah, but in my opinion, it is in the top 3, and in some people's opinions, it is the top. So it was a very well-renowned school. Anyways, ever since I started training professionally, my ankles were in pain. And when I say professionally, at the Australian Ballet School, when I was 14, I was in pain. And I kind of just pushed through it. Like, it was bearable for the first year, because it was like kind of part-time. Like, you went to ballet for 4 hours or 6 hours, and you did school for 4 hours or 6 hours. So it was kind of manageable. But once those hours started to bump up and the intensity increased, the pain only got worse. And I had numerous physios, I had numerous massages. I spent a hell of a lot of money on massages to try and relieve the pain. It was misdiagnosed by physio. In my last year, I finally got a scan, because I was basically living on Voltaren tablets. And long story short, it showed that my talus bone, which is your ankle bone, was oddly shaped. And it was causing a lot of pain, because instead of like your ankle bone being like this, and is it tibia or fibia? Tibia being, yes, tibia being easy to, you know, roll over it when you do, excuse my feet, but when you do this action, there was this bone and weird shape, and it wasn't easy to roll over and get range in that joint. Even though I was told I had really nice feet, it was very painful to point them and do anything, really. It's a biological thing. It was the way I was born. My dad has it in his left foot. My granddad has it in one of his feet. My cousin has it in one of his feet as well. I have it in both of my feet. So obviously dancing was not really ideal for my feet, but I didn't know that at the time. Once I figured it out in my 3rd year at the Australian Ballet School, I saw an orthopedic surgeon, got his advice, and he said, look, try and get a career first, and then we can look back into it. And the reason for him saying that, whilst he didn't really imply it at the time, I knew why he said that, because with every surgery, there's obviously risks. And, you know, I loved dancing. Oh, I know I chose it kind of for the wrong reasons, to get out of Brisbane, but very quickly, I grew an absolute love for it. It was part of who I was. It was like part of my identity. Anyone who is an athlete in any sort of thing, whether you try to deny it or not, it's part of you. And yeah, it's a risk, and it wasn't a risk that I was willing to take until I got to the level that I wanted to get to, at the very, very, very least. So I continued through the pain. Dolly Stop and Voltaren, it was swollen a lot of the time. It looked like there was a freaking, like, a golf ball popping out the side of both ankles. I was in an extreme amount of pain, but I just really was not willing to take that risk. Somehow I definitely really did improve. Like, I obviously wasn't a shitty standard to get into the school that I got into. But yeah, it was painful. And when I went to the John Krenko Schule, I was training like 12 hours a day. It was insane. Like, I'd warm up at 7, class was at 8. I wouldn't finish till 8 for the first 6 months. That was really, really, really painful. But at the same time, it was more of a mind over matter thing. And because I was so determined to do my best, and also grateful to be at the school I was at, I wasn't going to let it get in the way. but definitely it inhibited me from being able to do a leg row, which is jumps, to the best of my ability. It inhibited me from using my feet correctly on point work. I know this may not make sense to all of you, but that's what it did. And towards the end, when I was, about to begin my graduating year, it was a real concern for me because it started to inhibit me from doing the most simplest things, like a double pirouette or, pointing my feet when I jump. Even though in my mind, I was like, I don't care how much pain I'm in, I'm going to do it. My body was like, nah, you're not doing it. Anyways, that was my biggest concern because something as simple as rising an arabesque in the center, I couldn't do. Something as simple as a double pirouette on the don on the left foot in attitude, I couldn't do. Not because I didn't have the talent, because my foot was literally like, that's not going to happen. So we have all heard of the pandemic. I was flown home. We were all told to go home, so I went home. And I trained at home in an immense amount of pain. Voltaren, nothing helped. And honestly, my biggest concern was I'm not going to get a job no matter how much I've improved. And I knew my standard. My standard was good. I was told that I could get into the dream company that I wanted to get into, which was literally a dream come true just to hear from that. Just to hear that from such a well-regarded teacher that I had at the time too. I was just mind-blown. Like, it was insane. I was like, wow, I'm really making my dreams come reality here. This is amazing. But in the back of my head, I was like, Lily, if you can't do a double pirouette, like, good luck. And yeah, so when I was back in Australia, obviously because I am Australian citizen, healthcare is a lot easier for me to access. I was at home, I understood the language, my orthopedic surgeon spoke clear English, and it seemed like an ideal time. So I took the risk, and both feet had to be operated on. Right foot I did first, and then the left foot. The right foot, I think it only required one surgery or two maybe. But in terms of the actual types of things they did about 4 different things to my right foot. I could kind of hobble around and walk a little bit on that one. They did the left one. From memory, what they did was they reshaped the talus bone. In the left foot, they also reshaped the tibia bone, which is your lower leg bone. So this is about shaving off bone or cutting it and then shaving it and making it the right kind of shape that it should be. They removed scar tissue. They plucked my FHL tendon, the capsule, because every muscle that you have in your body is in this capsule. You could think about it as imagine, when you get pieces of meat from the grocery store, like some ham or something, and they wrap it around in a plastic bag. That plastic bag is around every single muscle of yours. And mine, due to everything I did, I put all this force into a joint that really wasn't happy to do it. My capsule was a bit messed up. It didn't slide properly between the joint because, excuse my feet, but your FHL tendon goes from your big toe right up to the back of your calf here. And because of all this being weirdly shaped and the stress I was putting under it, the tendon and the capsule it was in didn't slide properly. And yeah, so they plucked that tendon. I'm the best physio patient you'll ever have. I'll do every single exercise you tell me to. I'll rest when you tell me to. I'll do everything because I always want to make things better. Right foot, amazing. I can still point it. Look at this. I can still point it. It's a good looking foot. The left foot never got there. So I went into theatre again. Theatre as in surgical theatre. And they injected it with a really dosage of cortisone, which usually you can get done at a radiologist, but because it was such a high dosage, they had to put me in theatre and put me on a anesthetic to get that done, and it didn't help. And then went in again, they discovered that the tendon or something, there was a lot more synovial fluid, which is there's fluid in between all of your joints and stuff, and there was way too much in there. So they got rid of that. And it still didn't help. I've gotten plenty of MRIs, plenty of scans, and it looks like a very healthy ankle joint. There's no reason why I should still be in pain, but I still am. I didn't really let it fool me though. I, persisted with physios. I persisted with trying to get it better, but it just never did. And the worst thing was that no one could explain to me why. And the surgeon said, look, there's actually nothing else I can do. That's why I stopped, because I was forced to, because my ankle obviously can't do the things that are required in classical ballet. Extremely disappointing. I was heartbroken. This may sound insane, but to any athlete, I'm sure you can understand, like, it felt like myself was taken from me. Like, this huge part of me was just taken from me. And, like, I loved classical ballet. It was like losing a loved one, but it's like part of you. It was just terrible. It was really, really upsetting. But I did just want to mention one other thing, which is that whilst that is a reason I stopped training professionally, down the track, a bit after, I could kind of accept it, because looking back, as I mentioned, the reason I began classical ballet was not because I wanted a career in it, and it was not because I loved it so much. It was because I was trying to run away from some very negative situations and things that I didn't want to be a part of, and I wanted to build a happier and better life for myself, and I definitely did. I was on cloud nine. I was having the best time of my life. I met some of the most incredible people that I ever will meet, and I had experiences that very few people have at that age. They don't move out of home when they're 14. They don't go live in 3 cities and then live on the other side of the world. Like, that just doesn't really happen to a regular person. None of us are regular. We're all special. But yeah, if you get what I'm saying. So looking back on it now, I'm kind of glad in a way that it didn't heal, because if it healed, I know that I just would have gone back and continued. And that is never really truly what I wanted to do. Back of my mind, what I really wanted in life was, oh yeah, once I finish my career in ballet, I want to study something sciencey and medical. I want to find the love of my life. I want to live by the beach and gym, to be honest. I just wanted to make it clear to you guys, so I am kind of going all over the track here, but when I had to choose between ballet and gymnastics, what I wanted to do was train artistic gymnastics. I wanted to go to the Olympics. I wanted to train in that way, but I also wanted to complete year 12, and I wanted to be smart, and I wanted to have that academic pathway kind of at the same time. It can be done. What happened because I let someone else inflict my decision. And I see that every single day in today's society, people letting other people's ideas of what's best for them inflict their decisions and change what they think they should do. This person and situation never told me what I have to do. It was more like I'm letting someone else's bad attitude, is a nice way to put it, told me to not do what I wanted to do. And that is something that I regret, but I can also really learn from, and that's why I don't let that happen anymore at all. I don't listen to what anyone else thinks I should do. Yeah, honestly, just don't let anyone else tell you what you should do. And if you don't know, don't listen to other people's opinions. Take a break. Be with your thoughts. Go and clean the kitchen without listening to anything. Be with your thoughts. Go on a walk. Just be with your thoughts. Do mindful things where you're aware of your thoughts. And also think about what you want at the end of the day. And once you're pretty clear about what you want at the end of the day, then it's pretty easy to figure out what to do in order to get there. And you don't have to go to uni. You don't have to work at some stupid job that you get paid $20 an hour. You don't. Society tells all of us you have to, get the best ATAR you can in year 12 and then go into uni and all this stuff. And whilst that's great for some people are born to be doctors. Some people are born with an academic drive, but some people aren't. Some people are extremely athletic. Some people are in a total other realm where they want to help other people through speeches, they want to write, they want to do anything like that, and you're never going to feel fully fulfilled unless you start doing what you want to do. The question that I get quite often is, what do I do now? Now, I study biomedical science. It's an undergraduate, like, bachelor degree, and then I'm going to go into medicine. And the reason I say I'm going to get into medicine, some people are going to watch this and be like, how can you just say that? Like, you're a first year uni student, shut up. But no, that's not the attitude that you should have when you want something. So that's why I say, then I'm going to get into medicine and I'm going to do a doctor of medicine. And I don't want to like give away what exactly I want to do in terms of specializing, but I know. And in terms of training, obviously my foot still hurts, and I did try triathlon training and I loved it, but my ankle couldn't bear the swimming because it was like, and my ankle can't do that, and I could never do the best that I could, and it really frustrates me when I can't do the best that I can do. At the moment, I'm just weightlifting in the gym, which sounds like pretty boring, but I really like it because it's a huge mental thing for me. And also, I was kind of able to change my body a lot as well, because I was always told, you're so skinny, like, do you even eat? All of that. A lot of ballet dancers get that. And honestly, there was like one stage in my life where I definitely was underweight and I did look way too thin. But, you know, that was ages ago. And for the majority of my career and training, I was a healthy weight. But I still got told those things. So it's kind of nice to be able to be like, actually, I'm super strong now. Yeah, anyways, my body has changed a lot. One random thing, there's these things called variations in ballet, which are like already choreographed dances. And people would watch them for fun, and people would like practice them for fun. And people loved performing. That like was the main thing about ballet, was you do all this work to perform and do these roles that of your dreams, right? And for me, I was like, no, I love the training. I love the teachers screaming at me and pinching me and all of these things, which, sorry, that's a bit like aggressive, but honestly, that was just why did the lighting just change? That was just the way it was. And that's what I loved about it. And that obviously kind of just shows like, Lily, you probably really weren't doing what you wanted to do. So in a way, I'm really grateful that it didn't heal. We come back to Brisbane, which is a place that I don't really enjoy being in. And it made me realize my worth and that I am deserving of living the life that I want to, and to never, ever, ever let someone's bad attitude, you know, make me feel bad and make me run away and do all these things that aren't, you know, in line with who I truly am. Nonetheless though, I really would like my foot to heal, because I'd love to be able to swim, and I'd love to be able to run, and I'd love to be able to walk for over an hour before this weird draining feeling in the bottom of my foot. Like, it's still not fine. With that said though, I'm seeing the orthopedic surgeon again, literally in a week and 1 day. Probably in a week by the time you're watching this, just to get another opinion, because I really want it to get better. And I really enjoyed triathlon training, and it's something that I can't do. And I'm a bit sick of it, because I am still a very young person, and other than my foot, I consider myself a quite healthy human being, and I still just don't understand why I can't heal from something like this. Anyways, I just filmed for ages. That was a really, really, really long chat. If you have any other questions about industry that I was in, or any professional training advice, or anything to do with that, please send me a DM, because there's so much that can be talked about and so much that I learned that I wish somebody else told me. And honestly, I probably will make a lot of other videos in regards to this kind of thing, because there's just so much that needs to be said. Afraid to shoot me a DM if you're questioning having surgery, if you're questioning continuing what you're doing, or you just have any general like queries. You know, I'm a regular human being, but I'm also a very open person, and I'm happy to, you know, give my share and help anyone out. So yeah, with that said, hope you enjoyed the video. And I just want to say, lastly, a huge thank you to everyone that I ever met in the industry, but particularly all of my coaches and teachers. If you watch this, which I really don't think you will be, but if you are, thank you so much, because you don't realize, but you literally changed my life in the best way possible, because you gave me a life that would have otherwise been pretty terrible. And I just can't thank you enough for that. Also, you know, helped me with my confidence. I just can't thank you guys enough, because you put in your time and energy every single day, and that is something that is so inspirational. Also, to my really good friends, I just wanted to mention a few names. Rose Maloney, sorry for saying your last name, but she's my best friend in the whole world. But yes, she was at the John Cranko School with me, and we have been through the best and the worst times together, and she's an extremely strong individual. Martel Cho, again, incredible ballerina, absolutely amazing. Again, we just know how difficult it can get. Diana Spita, Joanna Sendra, all of the people that I met in Germany, honestly, Giuseppe Lucenti, all of that, everyone, just thank you so much for being a great colleague, is that the right word? Mate. Because I really did have some of the best times of my life, and I really cherish those memories. Okay, this video has been long enough. Goodbye. Don't forget to subscribe also, please, because I'd much rather make this my source of income and by, you know, sharing and helping people, rather than being a receptionist and being like, oh yes, what time was your booking? Because that's not really providing society any sort of benefit. So yeah, please subscribe, hit the like button, comment if you want, send me DMs, like my Instagram, all of that kind of stuff. Very much appreciated. Okay, bye.